Well, we're here in Thurles following a dramatic day of All-Ireland hurling quarter-finals. Galway winning the first one by a point. Clare winning the second one after a bit of a late rally against Wexford. Tommy Walsh, 9-time All-Star, 9-time All-Ireland winner, watched it with me. Tommy, I think it's fair to say that Galway and Clare deserved their wins, didn't they?
Absolutely, and they both had to fight hard for it, especially Clare in that second half. Definitely when Lee Chin got that second goal. All the momentum, all the spirit, the crowd, everything was going with Wexford, and it looked like they were going to, go on and create one of the biggest shocks of the day. But no, as Brian Lowe and teams do, they will stay fighting like their manager with no little skill. And Tony Kelly, I thought, and Shane O'Donnell are absolutely putting a huge last quarter. And upset Aaron Shannon. I was wondering where this guy was all season because he was one of their main players. And he stepped up and scored 1-2. And the most important scores of that was the goal, because that swung the momentum towards Clare. And a massive win for Clare here today. And they're going to a semi-final now with Kilkenny with a 50-50 chance.
Now Clare were getting on top anyway, but Dee O'Keefe was taken off for Wexford late on. You were surprised with that, weren't you? Because he was doing a great job.
Yeah, Dee O'Keefe was brilliant. And just in my head I was thinking, is that because of GPSs? And only Wexford, I suppose, could answer that. He put in such a huge shift all day. I was thinking maybe his GPS is showing him to be slowed down. But I often play games, Oisin, where you mightn't be. You feel like you can't run for the next ball, but you dog it out, you go for the next ball and you win it. And Dee O'Keefe is that kind of a player, so I was shocking surprised because he was covering off all the angles all day and he put in, a huge chip for Wexford.
In some ways we saw the best of Clare today, even though they didn't play as well maybe as they did against Limerick. But Tony Kelly pulled it out of the bag, got 3 from play towards the end of the match, 3 big points. Shane O'Donnell dropped back and did his usual thing this year of working hard and being a kind of a creator for maybe others. He got a couple of scores himself as well. Peter Duggan was a handful, and as you say, Aaron Shanahan came in and scored 1-2.
Yeah, well, you always need a balance as well, and in that last quarter Peter Duggan brought down some amount of ball. High balls coming down, hard to win it against that Wexford defence who were on top all day, but he used to bring it down with the hurl and the boys that come in and hoover up the breaks. As you said, Tony Kelly scored 3 points in that last second half. He had 1 up to that, so he finished with 4. And the rumours were coming into the game Tony Kelly didn't train. He looked maybe, that he wasn't buzzing around, maybe he was injured as well. But there was also 2 huge incidents where he put in 2 huge hooks. One of them for 1, I'd say went down and maybe they got a point off it. But absolutely brilliant off the ball as well all day today. But Shane O'Donnell has been hurling out of his skin all year and he won a few great frees.
They really should turn up the PA system, shouldn't they? It's not nearly loud enough. Etna, please, get to the tunnel. Tommy, what about Clare? Can they get back to the level they were at the Munster final for the All-Ireland semi-finals? Because sometimes you just need to get a game played, you just need to get through it somehow, and that's what they've done today. They haven't been particularly good against Wexford, but they will have to step it back up for the All-Ireland semi-final, and they're well capable of doing it.
Well, yeah, and it was a perfect match for them. Just get over the line. Quarter-finals are for winning, to get to the semi-final, especially after such a huge loss in the Munster final. And now the pep will be back in their step. For the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks, people have been clapping the back, telling them they're great lads, but they lost. They lost the Munster final, so the players wouldn't have enjoyed that. Whereas now when they get the clap in the back, they won, and they really dogged it out, and that's probably what will especially going against Kilkenny, who, I suppose the GAA in general would think if there's one team will dog out a win, it's a Brian Cody's Kilkenny team, but he's coming up now against a Brian Lohan and a Clare team, so it'll be a huge physical battle, I'd say. But as I said, I have great faith in this Kilkenny team. I think they're fierce, the forwards again. Forwards that can score and hurt you, and Clare have the same, and it'll be, I think, a huge 50-50 battle for this All-Ireland final place.
You wouldn't have too many games played against Clare in Championship, would you?
Well, go back to, say, my first All-Ireland on the panel was in 2002 against Clare. That was the great Clare team, probably coming near to the end, and they happened to win that. After that, then played them in a couple of semi-finals. 2006 semi-final, they put us under we were under the cosh that day. They played really, really well, but we got over the line in 06 and went on. So after that, then I can't remember too many times. Actually, we got beaten.
My point is, you've never peaked as teams together.
No, and this could be, they're 2 new teams as such. They've their older experienced players, but with a rush of young lads coming in. So, listen, it should lead to a very exciting build-up.
I want to talk to you about Galway and Cork, because that was the first game of the double-header here. Cork will be kicking themselves because they had the chances to win it and they didn't take them.
Yeah, they had a lot of chances, and the goal chances that they had, they were proper goal chances. They weren't chances where you'd say after the game when you're analysing it, looking at the video footage, why didn't you just tap the ball over the bar? They were not tap the ball over the bar opportunities. It's just they could have took it on an extra 5 or 6 yards.
Sorry to cut across you, but you might be able to hear cheering in the background. You possibly can't see what's going on. Brian Lohan is walking back to the dressing rooms and the Clare fans are cheering. Sorry to cut across you, Tommy. Back to Cork.
Yeah, so the goal chances, they had them goal chances, but they were proper goal chances and they deserved to go for them. If they had to take a bit of more experience, if they had to take it in another couple of yards, there would have been definitely goals. So they missed a couple of frees as well. So listen, no, there'll be a huge disappointment, I'd say, in Cork this evening, because that game was definitely there for them.
There will be a lot of talk about the Cork management, but I would put it to you that they actually did come up with a performance today. They just didn't take their chances, and that's a better way to end a season than maybe last year, getting to the final and getting absolutely battered, and people were saying, well, where are you going? What's happening with this team?
Yeah, you can definitely rest there, and you know they made hard choices during the season. You know, dropped the all-time leading top scorer in the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship, Patrick Horgan. I know they brought him on at half-time, but they made hard decisions and hard choices at different stages, and that means that they left no stone unturned. They turned up a performance today, just unfortunately, like Galway in the Leinster final, didn't execute their chances, and you can always hold your head up after performances like that.
The question marks over Galway coming into this was, could their forwards do it outside of Conor Whelan? Did they answer those questions today?
Yeah, well, when Cathal Mannion plays well for Galway play well. Mannion put in a huge shift, scored a great scores. He was chasing back himself and Pádraig, made great interceptions at various stages of that game. Conor Whelan, as you said, he finished with, I'd say, 1-2, the goal, but he learned from the Leinster final. He bounced it into the corner as opposed to straight at the goalkeeper, and it was from a very, very tight angle, but he kept going for it and they got that goal. So listen, huge performances from, I thought, Pádraig Mannion in the back line as well. Joseph Cooney had to go back as Garrod McInerney went off, and that could have been one of those kind of Dee O'Keefe moments where you'd say when Garrod McInerney went off they seemed to lose it, but no, Joseph Cooney slotted back in. But I think the performance for me of the day for Galway was David Burke. David Burke was brilliant.
Dahi as well, the two
and Dahi and Finton's sideline cuts relieve such pressure off the back line when he drives it up to the full forward line. But David Burke was epic today.
Do they have a chance against Limerick?
They do. You always have a chance when you're in the semi-final, and sometimes the semi-final is a place to catch an All-Ireland champion.
What would make you think they do have a chance? What about Galway do you like?
Well, the fact that now they're scoring,
aside from their manager.
Took the words out of my mouth. No, listen, a Galway team can always score, and we said that before the game. They will always put up huge scores regards on the point side of things, but can they score goals? They didn't score goals in 2017 when they won All-Ireland, but in the game today they scored two. I mean, you're scoring goals, but it's a rivalry is why I give them a chance. When you're playing a derby match, and Galway and Limerick are huge rivals, and when Galway put it up to Limerick, they won't like playing them. Played each other in that All-Ireland final, they barely got over the line. Limerick, they played in the All-Ireland semi-final a couple of years ago, they barely got over the line. Limerick, so you know, maybe third time lucky for this Galway team. Okay, Tommy, for now, thank you very much. I know you'll be back on Off the Ball during the week to talk about these games in a bit more detail. You'll have more time to reflect, you'll be able to watch them back. For now, you're off to play a match yourself, so I better let you go. Tommy Walsh talking to me here at Thurles, where Clare and Galway have qualified for the All-Ireland semi-finals. A lot more on these games available on all of Off the Ball's social media channels.